Hi there. I'm walking in another part of my town. This is actually the Girl Guide campgrounds area. My wife's a Girl Guide, so I dropped her off at an event and thought I'd come down and do some pics down here. Might do some droning. It's pretty picturesque, and the river's just over there. Anyways, I thought I'd introduce my video this week from an on-site location rather than my back home at my den, which can be a bit boring. And before too long, it'll be unfit for doing this sort of thing because it'll be so damn cold here. So, anyways, have a look at the photos of Dinosaur Provincial Park, which I camped at. It was pretty amazing. World Heritage UNESCO Site, which I didn't even know at the time, but I can see why, having visited there. So yeah, the pictures were really amazing. You know, every 10 steps there was something, a new angle, a new perspective, a new environmental shot. So I'm going to be showing you a lot of pics from my recent trip there. Pics like this and pics like this. So have a look. Let me know what you think. All right, here I am at Dinosaur Provincial Park. It's a pretty crazy territory environment here. It's a little bit like Tatooine. I expect some Jawas are over in there. What's going on? I'll be careful. Just look at this environment. Well, it's prehistoric. Here's one that's, as you can see, pretty washed out, but I managed to recover it. There you go. And in doing so, it picked out some sun streaks coming from the sun here, which I didn't see initially, which I thought were kind of fun. Then I always love when you can see a pathway in an image. Sort of implies a long trek up through there, which I always find kind of fun. And this one is nice because it has like a vivid sky, it has some foliage and greenery, but it also shows the aridness and the almost desert-like quality. There were like rattlesnake warning signs here, so not to go off the path and stuff like that. So I was pretty careful with that sort of stuff. Okay, here is another image that I took. This was sort of a twilight image, so it had some of those nice mauve and colorful elements in the sky as I was taking it. Sort of a dusky shot, and then mixed with the reds and the rusts of the land and the grand view. I just thought it was a nice shot. So here's the before and after of those. This is bland, washed out, and there it is corrected for lens aberration and the lens itself, and some saturation playing and all that jazz. So I think that turned out pretty well. Okay, and here's another one. This one I took sort of as intended it to be sort of almost an abstract shot, and I actually cropped in quite far so that some of the top and bottom you couldn't see. So when you first see it, you're kind of like, you're going to be like, I don't know quite what's going on here. And then I decided to turn it into a black and white monochrome, which I thought would aid that abstract nature, because you didn't have the immediate grounding of foliage and other visual tip-offs. So that's how that turned out. And I kind of enjoy it. You know, when you first immediately see that, you don't quite know what it is and don't realize that it's a massive set of hills and a whole environment in front of you. And this one I really enjoy doing. You know, sometimes you want to do really wide vistas and blow them up and really show the scale, and sometimes it's nice to get one of the details from within that environment. And I like the way this rock was nestled on top of whatever structure it's on, has some foliage in it, and has a lot of texture and detail in it, and then, you know, blur the background. So I just like the way this one came about. Anyways, had a look at the before and after. I just made it a little bit more rich, and did some contrast, playing with the contrast and the details and stuff like that. So I really enjoy this one. How it's just sort of a feature of the land that no one might look at, but when you stop and look at it, it's kind of a fun. It's almost like that hugely heavy rock has just been placed there gently by someone on top, and I find that sort of thing fun. Okay, and here's this was one of the early ones I took on this day, and I just love the two prominent structures right at the top, like really different and towering above everything. So much detail, such an interesting landscape. So this one was like a must-have. But this is the before, and there's the after. And I think what's funny is I hadn't even noticed, but I think there's a little magpie up here, which is funny, which gives you some scale, you know. Yeah, I didn't notice that in there before. That's funny, but that was a fun shot to do. I think it turned out well. Here's another one. This is the where it finished. I love these sort of deep shadows and different structures you can see here, almost like you could imagine a city almost, or something in these columns of rock, and then it stretches through a valley and goes into the distance. It was getting more towards golden hour and stuff like that, so it has that nice contrast, shadow and light in this one. Here's the before and after for you. So it's just a little less rich, a little more dull, not quite as textured, and yeah, I think that one works well. Okay, and this one is actually a bracketed shot of 3 exposures that I bracketed into one and blended and then edited from there, and I think it's gone pretty well. That's the final version there. Again, here's another one. This one's a little bit dull and dreary. I just tweaked it, and I think that it turned out pretty well. I like being able to see the rust color in these areas. So yeah, I like that one. Okay, well, I'm back again just to wrap up with those images that we're going through, and I mean, I could just go on and on. There were so many great shots to look at. I'm not saying my shots are great. I'm just saying like there was a lot of choice. There was a lot of selection to choose from. But I thought I'd come back here and just wrap up and finish it off with my favorite pick of the entire whole of the photos that I took, and show you this one, which was
I did some experimenting. I did this as an HD on I did two different methods. I did this in Luminar Neo as an HDR merge, and I also did a long exposure technique, which I do in Photoshop, where I blend different layers together from multiple shots. So maybe I'll show you that technique sometime. It wasn't really a lot. It's kind of like a cheating non-exposure, but it's also really good for detail and to get rid of noise and stuff. So anyways, I thought it had a good result here. I'm going to share that with you and sort of talk you through it. As you can see, it's a sprawling vista. It's got pretty good clarity throughout the image from the front to the back. A little bit of haziness at the back through atmospheric perspective. But the detail in the front is just really amazing. And I actually had to bleed all some detail in editing because there was too much all the way through and sort of doesn't come across as natural. Anyways, this was my favorite shot. It has some up close details. It conveys the grandness of the entire site, and I just think it's got a lot to offer it. So that's my favorite. Maybe let me know what you think, and thanks for checking all of these out with me.
All right, and once again, thanks for coming back to the channel. Like I said, it's a pretty new channel. I think this is my 5th video, so I really thank you for checking it out. And I don't know what my next one will be about. Maybe shots from within here, maybe some drone activity. We'll see. But yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you soon.